So, Mark, did you see that 1981 LVCVA ad? No one does it better than Las Vegas. It reminded me, honestly, of my grandparents and the era there. Just I can imagine them being all of those places. Then you had all the celebrities like Dean Martin, Liza Minnelli, and of course Frank Sinatra saying no one does it better. Did anybody have more swagger than Frank Sinatra?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody will ever get there either. But it just shows it seemed like a more innocent time, even though I know it was like mob heyday and all that stuff. But it just seemed more innocent versus Sin City and the way they market it now. It seemed like, hey, come and just have dinner with your wife and have a great time, relax, hang out, go to a show, and it just kind of the era that we were in. And versus now, it's like debauchery and go as crazy as you want, as hard as you want.
Yeah, within a generation, it became, no one does it better than Vegas to what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Quite a big change in just a few years.
I kind of prefer it the way it is now. No sleep all night, just party hard.
Resorts World had some interesting marketing this week as House of the Dragon debuted on HBO. That's the Game of the Thrones series. I have not watched a lot of Game of Thrones, so I'm not going to pretend I know what's going on, but they revealed this huge banner, and apparently they are on Team Queen Targaryen or something. I don't know, but they've
Targaryen.
thrown it in.
Yeah, everybody watching right now either hates you or is jealous of you that you haven't watched Game of Thrones. Just skip like the last season and a half. Up until then, probably one of the best shows on TV, if not the best. And then they just kind of messed it up at the end when they ran out of books. But I haven't watched the new show at all. This is season 2 launch, so I've heard mixed things about this series versus the original, but it's cool that Sphere isn't the only one doing some big time ad work out there, and it looks really cool and something unique and good for Resorts World for hooking this up.
Yeah, they have such interesting marketing partnerships from the EDC hotel to they find all these cool little marketing things. And this, I just happened to see this on their Twitter, their Father's Day ad, and I just loved it. This guy has like his dark sunglasses, his toothpick in, big like feathery jacket. What a great vibe that is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the Father's Day vibe. That's like the not your daddy vibe, or like I'm not a good father. Hey, I know it's Father's Day, but I'm gonna go hang out at Resorts World and not spend any time with my family. Or, I mean, if there was like their kids walking with them, that's one thing, but it's kind of funny for sure.
It's like as if you were to have AI generate an ad for, Vegas with a grandpa walking around. It's what it would come up with or something. I don't know. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was unexpected when I saw it. I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I like it.
So speaking of TV coming to real life, Friends, the experience is coming to MGM Grand. Now, this isn't the Friends 25th
Yeah,
anniversary thing that we messed up last year. This is actually happening.
I was gonna say, like, is this the thing that happened 5 years ago? We're just bringing it up again, or
No, this time it's real. I double checked. So you're gonna have photo opportunities, props and costumes. Obviously, they'll have sets, probably similar to the Stranger Things thing we've seen here and other stuff. They don't have an opening date announced, but it is going to be in the district at MGM Grand. So that's where it's going to be located. And there, you can join a wait list. You can head to their site where you'll get email when tickets go on sale. I can't imagine it's going to take them too long to build this, so probably in the next couple months. But Friends officially coming to Vegas with a permanent sort of installation.
yeah, I think this is big, and there's so many people that love Friends out there. My wife is one of them. She's watched every episode multiple times. It's just kind of crazy the staying power of this show and how much it still generates in fandom and money. And I think what Netflix pay like $1 billion or something crazy for the rights to it years ago, 100 million, something astronomically high. So it just the fact that it's still driving views, still bringing in money, and there's still these pop-ups and everything is pretty crazy.
So let's move over to Horseshoe and the World Series of Poker. Are poker players big eaters? I don't know, but Jack Binion Steakhouse has this special $150. You get a 32-ounce prime rib, a 1-pound potato with all of the fixings. So butter, sour cream, chives, cheese, all the stuff on there. Chocolate layer cake. 20 minutes. If you eat everything, you get it for free. If not, 150 bucks. So an eating challenge for World Series of Poker. Yeah, I mean, I think, do you think you could do this? I don't think it would be very enjoyable.
No, that's the big thing. Like, I mean, you're eating all this food and you don't get to like enjoy any of it. And then likely you're going to end up spending the 150 bucks anyway. So you just like scarf down most of it, didn't really sit and, digest it or experience it. and then you're still paying the full freight of it all. But wouldn't it be like a cruel twist if they brought out like prime rib that's really fatty? Are you supposed to eat like all the nasty fat parts that are stuck on the outside too?
I mean, I could just imagine what it would feel like to eat that much food in 20 minutes and how it would feel and why it's not worth $150. But I don't know why this is specific to poker players. Is like I said, are they known to be big eaters? Maybe somebody can let us know in the comments. But the beef sweats, Mark, the beef sweats.
It's like you eat $150 worth of food in 20 minutes, and then you spend the next 24 hours on the toilet.
And you miss your game and you lose the World Series of Poker, and it's all because of that darn steak. Also, World Series of Poker related, the Rio, even though it no longer hosts it, it was the former host. And a lot of people think it was better over there than it is currently at Paris and Horseshoe. But they also just opened their Luckley Tavern. This has been under construction. This is where the old All-American Grill used to be. Now, we had theorized that this was going to be their new breakfast spot for stuff, but it's not open for breakfast. So just lunch and dinner. Hash House going to remain their big breakfast area. I think this looks really great. Now, it doesn't mesh completely with everything old at Rio, but this is sort of the design direction they're going into. Similar to the way the food hall is. We get a good look at the new carpet there as well. So yeah, another sign of progress there at Rio.
Yeah, it's good to see them bringing up their game. I mean, there's nothing in this that really, speaks to me that I'm like, oh, I got to go there to check it out. It's nice for anybody on property or staying on property. I don't think it's anything over the top or worth a visit for. But if you're there, it's nice to have another option. Looks nice, clean. Kind of like on tap at MGM, similar feel to that, probably a little bit nicer. Similar type food, atmosphere, experience, I would say.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be over the top or anything, but I like the design language. We see sort of the quality they're going for. It looks like a nice venue. Again, it's going to stick out against everything else around it until they get this done. But that carpet, I think, looks better and better as you see more of it. Vital Vegas shared a video of the tavern. I'm going to head over there to check it out this week as well. But yeah, I like the carpet. I think it's definitely bold, but it's working better in large chunks.
Yeah, I think, we said once you fill things in, it will probably take on a whole different shape and feel a lot different versus just seeing it in its element on its own. So it's good to see once it's filling in that, it's not so crazy.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gives you access to our weekly after show, lots of extra behind the scenes, talking Vegas, patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. Thanks to everybody who supports us over there. So, Mark, you haven't gambled at MGM in a while, and apparently they want you back because they just sent you a pretty cool comp offer.
Unexpected. I haven't really spent much time in their casinos or, last trip to Vegas, I was at Resorts World, so I didn't even go in there at all at any MGM casinos. And, giving me free play, $250, a couple nights stay, and then a 5-night cruise to a couple different options like Bahamas, Mexico, things like that for 2 people. Interior stateroom, but I'm guessing you could probably pay to upgrade once you get you have to show up and go to the thing to get your little certificate and all that. But usually you can call and pay a fee to upgrade, right?
Yeah, it depends on the cruise line. But yeah, usually you can do that, and they have select sailings, and it's going to depend on which sailing you're on and everything else. What I found very interesting about this offer is very specific dates. So they were locking you into basically just the beginning of August, right? I mean, that's sort of strange. Yeah, but I mean, just 2 weeks, why do that? Is it just I guess it's just, will he take this bait? And can we get him back on this very specific offer?
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're just really slow those weekends or what's going on. It did seem weird. It was such a tight window twice. Usually it's hey, over these 2 months or whatever. It's a bit bizarre that it's so locked in and peak sweaty season. So probably not the best time, unless you're a pool person. Probably not the best time to go to Vegas. Not my favorite time for sure. But interesting to see.
And let us know if you've received similar offers with very specific, periods or bounce back offers if you haven't played a while. I guess this is good news to see that MGM is doing that. Hopefully more people will get those. As we've heard anecdotally, a lot more people have turned away from MGM rewards in the last couple of years, but it's always hard to sort of figure that out. But this is a reminder that sometimes when you don't go for a while, they want you back, and it can always be a good thing too to give it a break. So in Magic related news, this is an interesting story. Murray Sawchuck, he was a resident performer over at the Laugh Factory at Trop, but he's been in Vegas for a long time. And he went viral on social media a couple months ago, sharing behind the scenes of tricks, different magic tricks. And that got him in trouble with the Magic Castle and the International Brotherhood of Magicians. And you don't want to be in trouble with the International Brotherhood of Magicians, right? That seems like very scary. But unfortunately, he decided to leave those organizations. He's not sort of backing off and taking his videos down, but he says this has been good for his bookings. He's getting 4 times the rate he was before all of this controversy.
As they say, no press is bad press, right? If your name's out there, I've seen the guy in a couple like shows and movies and stuff, but I didn't know who he was other than I just thought he was like this magician type actor guy. So this definitely puts his name out there. A lot of people probably, he's not like a brand name magician. There's not a ton of household name magicians out there, so this kind of puts him in the limelight. And I've seen these videos from other people, maybe not brotherhood magicians, but you've seen these videos on TikToks where they show how they do tricks, and I feel like Penn and Teller's done quite a bit of this in the past on their shows and stuff, so I don't get why they're so upset about it. I mean, it's not like it hasn't been done before.
Yeah, the article I read points out that Penn and Teller were banned themselves years ago for revealing stuff, but then they've been honored by them. And this is really a different era. I feel like you can't be protecting this stuff in the age of social media, and it's good. I'm glad he's getting more bookings and he does a good job. He's still waiting to see if Laugh Factory comes back in Vegas, so he's been touring around, but like you said, no press is bad press, and this is helping him out. Staying on the entertainment scene, one of the biggest celebrities in the history of Las Vegas, Elvis Presley, performed at the International Hotel all the time, and that is now the Westgate, and they love their Elvis legacy, as we've talked about before, and they are launching a new show called The King Comes Home. It's starting on the 18th of June. Elvis coming back to the International, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they're, getting in touch with the history, and there's so many Elvis fans out there that I think it'll be popular. I just thought it was interesting that it's like Tuesday at 5:30, Wednesday and Thursday at 7:30. Like, not the best show times for a new show rolling out. That seems strange to me that you wouldn't even give it a try in some primetime spots.
I mean, it is an Elvis show in Vegas, so I don't know how original you can get, but they seem to be leaning into the legacy, which is really cool. I didn't know that there's this Elvis that sings at the Harrah's Dueling Piano Bar like during the week. I saw that on a recent video of Josh and Rachel's where they did 24 hours in Vegas. We're going to talk about that on a future show, but yeah, you can see Elvis over there. Yeah, Elvis everywhere. So maybe it's a hard draw to get people to come out to see Elvis, but I guess if you're going to do it anywhere, that's the spot.
Yeah, you can get married at his chapel, just like Sean, or with the chapel in the movie, not the real chapel. I don't know. What was the final on that?
I don't know what you're talking about. So let's move downtown. I love talking about the Berlin Wall at Main Street Station, and I think it's a cool piece of history, but there's actually another piece of Vegas history right there. I had no idea. I don't know how many times I probably walked by this, but inside the Golden Gate Casino, you can peel back a wall and find the original wall. This is the oldest hotel in Las Vegas, and the original hotel wall there, right behind the casino wall.
Yeah, you stole my line. I was gonna, make a joke or reference that if it's not in the bathroom and you can't pee on it, it doesn't really count, right? Like.
I mean, it's Fremont Street.
Put...
You can pee anywhere, can't you?
True. No, this is cool. I've been in there dozens of times, and I actually really enjoy gambling, playing blackjack there. And I've never noticed this, never even looked. They have a lot of little like history bits and pieces, tidbits, like all over the casino that you don't really pay attention to. If you go looking, there's quite a bit in there.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Another reason to go down to that end of Fremont Street with that, and Plaza Main Street Station with all of the stuff we've talked about before. Really cool to see that. Next story is very interesting. Vegas running out of land. So this is a PR piece, I think, that's come out this week, basically pressuring the government to sell more BLM land. But essentially, home builders are saying there's less than 8 years worth of land left. Still high demand, people moving here. Housing prices obviously still high, even though demand has been lower because of higher interest rates. And yeah, they're raising the alarm, saying we only have 8 years. And of course, all the land, or so much of the land, tens of thousands of acres surrounding the valley, are owned by the BLM. And they're supposed to be sold at some point.
It's interesting. What is the number? Like 88% the Bureau of Land Management owns. And, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. There still looks like there's quite a bit of land, but not accessible to everybody. I was going to say, when I saw the headline of this, I'm like, this is the time. Trim for prim and to live. Like, let's build some houses out there. Let's move it, just shift. But I'm guessing that they're going to have to release some of the land. They're just sitting on it. What's the point of holding it? If you can make some money off of it and then recoup taxes every year off of these homes and stuff. Like, it just makes sense that they have to release it. Maybe they do it in chunks or whatever, but they're going to have to open it up, I would imagine.
Yeah, a couple takeaways here. They're trying to clear the red tape, so they're trying to make it easier for the land to get sold and developed. Is there's no interest in slowing down growth here, so all the water issues, we are using less water even than we were, 10 years ago, despite population growth, things like that. But Vegas is going to continue to grow, so all of the problems that come with big cities are there. And yeah, we'll eventually get that land,
Like
but that just
rats.
means people are going to be moving further and further out.
Like rats. Big cities, rats, baby.
We got plenty of those. In COVID, Park MGM reopened as a smoke-free casino, and it was sort of interesting to see the transition of that property from Monte Carlo to the reimagined Park MGM. Some people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. I think the casino is great. It's missing a bit of a vibe, but we both really love Nomad. And one of the cool things is it's smoke-free. So anywhere you are in the property, it's smoke-free. And I do think that's noticeable when you're going strip to strip property and then you're in Park MGM. The air feels a little cleaner. And there's been a move among shareholders at different gaming companies to try to get resolutions to move more towards smoke-free. In fact, in the last couple of weeks, Bally's and Boyd Gaming sort of rejected proposals for this. And then at Caesars, they just had a vote, and 80% of shareholders rejected doing a study to find out about non-smoking. Seems like they're very concerned about safety, but I think this is the first kind of brick to fall, and eventually we'll get there where they're going to open their mind up to this. Consumer habits are changing for sure.
Yeah, I was surprised that so many people voted against it. Like, what's the harm in just taking time to investigate it, see if it works? Does it hurt the gaming revenue? Does it help the gaming revenue? All that type of stuff. I mean, MGM already has kind of like their test case that they could look at and see what was it like before, what is it like now, how does it compare to the other casinos. So, like around here, smoking in casinos, but you go across the river to Windsor, no smoking there, and it is noticeable, and it's a better experience for me personally as a non-smoker. But I don't know that it will drive people away. Will it draw people in? It's kind of tough to tell. So I think that's what would make sense, to investigate all those stuff and then make the best decision for the shareholders for profit, depending on what comes out of it.
And MGM does make that bold move with Park MGM to take one of their properties and test it out. We don't really know exactly how that's working compared to other properties and all the data they have. But Caesars has so many properties. You would think that they would be flirting with the idea at this point of making one of their properties non-smoking. Maybe their clientele is just different. I don't know. I mean, we obviously smell different smells of smoke when you're at a lot of the Caesars properties these days. But it is curious to me that they wouldn't want to try this with one property and see how it works, because there are a lot of consumers who will go out of their way for that, even if in the gambling space, it seems like that's one of the last holdouts, and the pro-smoking crowd seems to have a lot of sway here.
Yeah, I mean, the lobbyists, man. When they took it away here in the restaurants and everything, it was kind of shocking, but now it's so normal. Like, nobody complains or is that upset about it. I think it'd be the same way. Maybe there'd be a little bit of complaint early on, but I think people would just get used to it and adjust, and it just kind of is what it is. I don't even know, like the cleaning, the filtration, all that stuff that comes with smoking, how much does that cost them every year? I'm guessing it's in the millions.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the people who brought these proposals to these various companies say they're going to continue to do it. That's why I think we'll start seeing these voted on every year, and it'll probably get closer and closer, and we'll get more data on it. And it's an interesting thing. So let us know what you guys think about smoking in the casino. Should it be banned? Should at least they try more, smoking areas? Should they do smoking rooms and enclose them and then leave everything else non-smoking? There's other solutions that may work better to kind of segregate out the smoke. Or you just wanted old school drinking, smoking, everything everywhere, Vegas. Let us know in the comments about that. The original wall at Golden Gate, Resorts World joining the House of Dragons. Is their pick a big one? Did they make a good choice with their marketing partnership? Let us know in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Hey, without smoking, we wouldn't add all those cool COVID videos, though. So, I mean, I'm glad it was still around then. Have a good week, everybody.